Ever wonder what really happens if you do 50 push-ups every single day for a whole month? I tried it myself, and what I discovered was way more surprising than you might think. When I first started this challenge, I honestly thought it would be simple. I mean, push-ups are one of the most common exercises in the world. Everyone says they build strength, they shape your chest, they tone your triceps, and they even help your core if you keep your body in a straight line. That's the image you see everywhere online, people doing their daily push-ups and magically transforming. And sure, push-ups are incredible, but nobody tells you what happens when you do the same thing every single day without changing anything. Now, I went into this challenge with the same confidence most people have. I thought, it's just 50 push-ups, how bad could it be? Well, I found out the answer pretty quickly, because week 1 felt like I declared war on my own body. By the second day, my chest was screaming, my triceps were on fire, and my shoulders felt like someone had filled them with cement. And while the pain was annoying, the real challenge was my form. I kept trying to keep a straight line from my head to my heels, but by push-up number 7, my hips were dropping, my elbows were flaring, and I probably looked like a confused seal trying to lift itself off the beach. Even though I was supposed to do 50 push-ups a day, I couldn't do them all in one go, not even close. I broke them into tiny sets of 5 scattered throughout the day. Wake up, do 5. After breakfast, do 5. Before lunch, do 5 more. It was embarrassing, honestly, but that's how I survived the first week. I kept reminding myself that it didn't matter how small the sets were, as long as I kept trying to hold good form. And slowly, without even noticing, something began to change. By the time I was moving into the second week, the soreness that had been tormenting me started to fade. The pain wasn't gone, but it didn't dominate my day anymore. Instead, I felt something new. Strength. That small spark of strength gave me the motivation I didn't know I needed. Suddenly, those tiny sets of 5 were becoming sets of 10. Then it became 12, then 15. My body finally felt like it was cooperating with me instead of fighting me. My chest felt firmer, my arms felt more solid, and I could look in the mirror and actually see a little definition. It was the kind of progress that makes you think, okay, I can do this. This was the exciting part of the challenge, where everything feels easy and you almost start believing all the daily push-up transformation videos you see online. I felt strong, confident, and honestly a little unstoppable. But that feeling didn't last forever, because around week 3, something strange started happening that I wasn't expecting at all. While looking in the mirror one morning, I noticed my shoulders seemed to be leaning forward a little. Nothing dramatic, just a slight rounding, but it definitely wasn't there before. At first I thought I was imagining it, but the next few days made it obvious that something was off. That's when I finally put the pieces together. Of course, my pushing muscles were getting stronger. I was hammering them every single day. My chest, triceps, and the front of my shoulders were getting plenty of love. But the muscles on my back, the ones that pull and keep your posture straight, were being completely ignored. I hadn't done a single exercise for them. All this push-up training was strengthening the front part of my body while the back stayed weak, and that imbalance was literally pulling my shoulders forward. I wasn't just getting stronger, I was accidentally building a rounded posture. It was a strange realization because I'd gone into this challenge thinking push-ups were the perfect full-body move. And while they're great, doing only push-ups every single day creates a one-directional system. Everything pushes forward, nothing pulls back, and the human body isn't designed to work like that. Everything is supposed to have an opposite. When one part constantly gets stronger and the other stays the same, your body starts tilting, sometimes literally. That was the moment I understood why so many people quit this challenge halfway through without even realizing what's actually happening to their bodies. Most people assume they're just tired, or they lost motivation, or they hit a plateau and their progress ran out of steam. But the truth is actually buried much deeper than that. What really stops people isn't laziness. It's the hidden imbalances silently building up inside their body. The ones you didn't notice until everything feels slightly off. Your shoulders feel tight, your posture feels weird, your push-ups feel heavier instead of lighter, and you suddenly feel like you're working twice as hard for half the results. It sneaks up on you, and it only goes away if you approach the challenge with more strategy and less stubbornness. You have to be smarter, not tougher. When I figured that out, the first thing I changed was my approach to rest. Everyone loves to romanticize the whole no days off mentality, but honestly, that mindset ruins more progress than it creates. People think pushing through soreness makes them disciplined, when really, it just makes them injured. Muscles don't grow while you're grinding out rep number 47. They grow in the quiet moments afterward, when you stop, breathe, eat, sleep, and let them repair. So I finally listened to my body and gave myself 1 or 2 days rest each week. And it was wild how fast things improved. Instead of waking up stiff and feeling like a piece of furniture that had been dropped down a flight of stairs, I woke up feeling stronger, more stable and more ready to work. My joints stopped complaining, my soreness became manageable, and my form actually got better because my muscles weren't constantly overworked. The second thing I changed was my push-up style. Doing the same push-up every day was what caused the plateau in the first place. So I started switching things up. Sometimes I widened my grip to hit more chest. Sometimes I brought my hands close to focus on my triceps. Sometimes I added a decline to activate more upper chest. And sometimes I slowed down the movement and made every rep more controlled. Before long, I could feel that my body wasn't bored anymore. The variation kept things interesting, both for my mind and for my muscles. But the biggest fix, the one that truly saved my posture, was adding pulling exercises. I didn't have a fancy gym or any heavy equipment, so I kept it simple. I did bodyweight rows with a sturdy table. I did band pulls with a resistance band. I did a few sets of dumbbell rows when I could get my hands on some weights. Once I started giving my back muscles attention, everything balanced out. My shoulders moved back to their original place, and the tension I didn't even realize I had built up started to fade. And through all these adjustments, I also dialed in my form. I realized it was pointless to chase the number 50 if I wasn't doing the push-ups correctly. So I focused on keeping my elbows tucked at about 45 degrees, tightening my core, squeezing my glutes, and lowering myself until my chest was almost touching the floor. 10 perfect push-ups did more for me than 50 sloppy ones ever could. By the time I reached the end of 30 days, I definitely felt stronger. My chest had better shape, my arms had more definition, and my core felt unbelievably solid. But the biggest lesson wasn't about muscle at all. It was about understanding that fitness isn't supposed to be mindless. You can't repeat one exercise forever and expect it to magically transform your body. Real progress comes from balance, form, rest, and listening to what your body needs, not punishing it through repetition. And honestly, once I stopped obsessing over the number and started paying attention to how each rep felt, everything changed. I began noticing which muscles were working, how my breathing affected my strength, and when I needed to push versus when I needed to slow down. That level of awareness made the whole experience more enjoyable, less stressful, and way more sustainable. It taught me that consistency and intention always beat intensity. So if you're thinking of doing this challenge yourself, remember this. Don't chase a number. Chase quality. Chase balance. Chase the kind of routine that makes your whole body stronger instead of pushing it in one direction until something breaks. With the right mix of rest, variation, and pulling exercises, this challenge can absolutely build strength, definition, and confidence. Just do it with intention, not autopilot. If you give this challenge a try with these tips, tell me how it goes. And for more fitness stories that actually make sense, don't forget to like and subscribe.